We're in the hold at Varaz. We've just been cleared for the park visual approach to runway 31 on LaGuardia. We're going direct to Varaz now. We've configured to flaps 5 when we were given the approach clearance. We've completed the descent and approach procedures, and we're now going to set the MCP to 500 feet for visual approach and above airport elevation, which is 21 feet. So we'll round it up to 600 feet. Follow your company SOP. We have RMP, AMP within limits. We've set the MDA to 600, and we will set the MCP. Then just 2 nautical miles prior to descent, gear down, flaps 15, speed brakes armed, and open the speed window. Then configure flaps 40, VREF 40 plus 5, plus any additives, none today because the wind is almost calm at the field, and then set the missed approach altitude, whatever we're assigned. That will all happen 2 nautical miles prior to descent. Okay, I'm sharing now our map overlay, Google Earth overlay, and little nav map so that we can see it. And here's our actual chart for the approach itself. We'll be coming into view on this chart here shortly. Once we do, we'll come back to the main screen. Let's pop back to the main screen now, and which is now, and we'll come back to the approach plate shortly again. Current altimeter at the field at LaGuardia is 3007. The winds are virtually calm. We're in the RNAV path. We've configured the flaps 5 the moment we were cleared for the approach. You can see the top of the descent coming up ahead. So 2 nautical miles before that, we'll do those items that we talked about. We've set the lower altitude on the MCP as we discussed. So we're 2.5 nautical miles prior to top of descent. So another half mile we'll continue with the configuration. Gear down. Flaps 15. Set flaps 15 speed. Then we'll configure for landing flap. We're going to use flaps 40 because of the runway availability at the field. Gear up 30 plus 5. Set. Speed brakes armed. And RNAV path we are in, and we're starting a slight descent. We shouldn't be yet, but okay, we'll watch it closely. Here's our vertical path here at the top of the PFD. We're now sharing the approach plate chart. And there is our aircraft on track, looking good. And there's our Google Earth overlay. Sharing now the computer screen. Once we're 300 feet below the missed approach altitude, we'll set the missed approach altitude, and that will be the completion of the landing check. And we're very close to beginning our descent, as you can see here on the vertical nav scale. And FMC speed, we're in the nav path. There is our actual vertical path, and we should be starting down now. And we are. On a gentle descent. We can see our position here, coming up to Shea and then Gagkar after. Sharing the computer screen and the lovely heads-up display. Descent approach checklist have been complete. The landing checklist complete except for the missed approach altitude, which we can set anytime now.
2500.
Radio altimeter alive. .3,000 feet set. Beautiful night here in LaGuardia. On path, on vertical path, showing just slightly high, 1940 on the radio altimeter. That's good for our barometric setting. The landing checklist complete. Just go ahead and set the heading bug close to the missed approach, because we're going to be very, very busy. When we're in the turn. We have the airport visual. We can't see it here, but we'll see it once we out of the window because of the software. But we're looking good. HUD is looking good. FMC speed, VNAV path. Check.
1,000 feet stabilized, Mr. Perch altitude set.
Check. Clear to land, runway 31, surface wind calm. I used to fly this many years ago when it was called the Expressway Visual Approach. That's roughly 40 years ago. But same path, but called Parkway Visual now. Here we are on the
Approaching
3rd of
minimums.
March,
500.
2026.
Minimum.
8 landing.
400.
Okay,
Approaching.
two red,
3,
white.
1.
We would have disengaged the auto-flight systems.
300.
Let's just leave them engaged to show you the accuracy of the FMS. We would
Caution.
have,
Taxiway. Caution. Taxiway.
we would
200.
have disengaged when we had the airport visual and flew it manually. But this is the wonderful thing about the FMS.
100.
And we'll pause it here. Welcome to Lat Long Global, and of course Lat Long Inc. Over 35 years ago, when we copyrighted the logic for this kind of approach, we were with American Airlines in Newark, as you can see in all the videos I've done of when we actually organized the FMS logic to allow line selectable approaches, and this is just one of the cases. We'll end this video.